What's up guys, Nolan here, and with the start of a new event today having to do with the price of keys, and Nikita did a Russian community cast yesterday that I have the translation for. Since this is a Russian translated to English community cast, we need to be even more careful than usual for anything that might be lost in translation. Please keep in mind more than ever that all of this is subject to change. When it comes to the new event today, it seems like most, if not all of the keys in the game are now selling to traders cheaper. What that means is that you will get a higher tax for posting it too high on the flea market. The price of all keys affected should go down significantly, even half for some of them, which would be millions if not tens of millions for some of these. If there's one key in particular that you were looking for, I would check the flea for it now, unless it says it's been posted for longer than a couple hours, seeing as the event just started. There's also a possibility that people may not know that this event is happening and not realize what they are losing by posting that key for that price as well. If you are posting a key, make sure to pay attention to the posting fee for that key so that you don't get robbed. Speaking of event, that might not actually be the right word for this. These changes to key prices might actually be permanent, as BSG might be wanting to keep keys more accessible. BSG also made it so that you can't carry as many of the same key in raid anymore, such as the labs cards and marked room keys. This is clearly to combat RMT, but of course anyone who for whatever reason needs to move a bunch of keys around, you will need to do it with some more raids now. There's also thoughts that this event may not end with the key prices, as the names involved with the translated T's from Battlestate are associated with Gluhar and a meeting around 1800. So there may be something happening soon with Gluhar or his goons, or both, on reserve soon, so keep an eye out. Along with this event, the Mutant also saw another round of nerfs today by way of increased recoil. The 308 QD SIG suppressor that is used a lot with it, I guess, also got another nerf. Now moving on to the Russian translated community cast, we're starting off with Lighthouse and Streets of Tarkov. In case you didn't know before, a bunch of the Streets team was transferred to Lighthouse in order to finish it. Lighthouse will be a larger location, and most likely initially we will only receive part of the map, and then it's going to be enlarged later. Every single map has had this happen to it before, and given the delays and the slow pace recently, I'm really not surprised that it's happening now. Bosses for the location Lighthouse are planned, but they are still in the early stages of development. The final appearance of those bosses have not been decided yet. Now, the appearance might not be decided, but we do have great ideas of how those bosses are going to work, of which I detailed that in my Everything Lighthouse video. You can check out the link in the description for that. BSG wants to release Lighthouse this year, but now Nikita seems skeptical. Given the unfortunate pace lately, I would say that we would be lucky at this point to get Lighthouse this year. Seeing as Nikita is publicly being skeptical about it, we will have to wait and see. Nikita believes that it is too early to even show screenshots of the Lighthouse location, since the location is still so far from completion, but then he followed it up by saying perhaps next week there will be something. That also leads me to believe that they're going to do an English cast next week, so I'll keep an eye out for that. The game is still planning to expand some of the locations, like apparently customs and interchange, even further, but at the moment BSG is focusing on Lighthouse and Streets of Tarkov when it comes to environments. They discussed special events for a little while, where events are here to stay, and they have written 60 to 80 plus different events so far, apparently all being unrelated and with varying degree of difficulty, and they will not repeat ever. I know it translates to that, but reasonably speaking, there's only so many things that these events can affect, so I bet the lore changes every time, but the outcomes are probably very similar. Honestly, I wouldn't mind them repeating eventually as well, but that's just me. BSG collects feedback from players throughout all of the events that took place in the game. Also, the events fixed some bugs and bugs that were associated with the effects of that event. For instance, during this heatwave event, we saw two problems at once apparently. The temperature at night is the same as the day, and the temperature in labs was the same as an outside location. Neither was intended apparently, which does make sense. The system will also be refined so that the consumption of water and food changes dynamically under different circumstances in the game. What that sounds like to me is that if you are noticeably grinding your metabolism, they're probably going to try and put a way to stop that. Apparently they also want to make the weather forecast also appear in game, so that you know what's going to be coming ahead of time. Next, they talked about Scav Karma. Nikita will think about an earlier spawn time for Scav players. He also mentioned that all Scav Karma perks are unlocked at Scav Karma Rep 6 with Fence, which there are many. There will be more mechanics for gaining and losing Karma. Nikita heard us that it is too difficult to level up, so he says there will be more ways to level it up later. Karma will affect the state of the weapon with which your Scav starts with, such as the durability, attachments, ammo, etc. They want to add the double barrel shotgun back soon, finally, and have it be a weapon for Scavs with bad Karma. The worse your Scav Karma is, you are going to get worse guns with low durability. There will be more internal mechanics that will influence karma in a positive and negative way. He also mentioned new friendly Scav PMC exits will be added to all locations. Yes, those are the ones where if you are a Scav, you need a PMC, or if you are a PMC, you will need a Scav in order to use it. The boss defense system is going to be improved on. Now it requires a very high positive karma in order for them to be friendly with you. If you don't know what this is, basically, if you have very high karma, bosses will not kill you on sight as a player Scav, and sometimes they will even help you out, like Sanitar shares meds and stims with player Scavs if their karma is sufficient. However, Nikita does not want to reveal every Scav karma perk. He wants them to be a surprise. Apparently, Scavs were supposed to have phrases that do not work at the moment. This is a bug that Nikita said he didn't know about, and BSG are going to check in on it. It is suspected that not all files are working as intended for the Scavs this patch, so Scav karma is very much still a work in progress, even though it is already in the game. They are thinking about adding the ability to re-roll the loadout of your Scav, but only once and without being able to change it back. It is just an idea though, so it's not planned or anything. Next, they talk about malfunction mechanics. Weapon malfunction mechanics are going to continue to be added to the game, and Nikita admitted it's difficult to get working as intended, so it's taking a while. There will be several more types of malfunctions added, and not all will be fixed with a Shift T. Nikita also mentioned magazines have an effect on malfunctions too. The malfunctions are still being changed and polished during this patch, and they plan to add overheating of suppressors specifically, and other types of weapon malfunctions around heat and rapid fire. According to Nikita, the realism in the game should be playable, and seeing as this is translated, I assume what he said here was the phrase that they've been using in English a lot, which is as realistic as playable. This must be in reference to all the people that are complaining about malfunctions being in the game. It has always been BSG's plan to have this game be very realistic, and in the past they did plan on it being even more realistic, but with its gained popularity, I'm sure they've stepped back significantly with a lot of stuff. Either way, malfunctions are going to be in the game, but they do want it to be playable, so they are going to hear the community out when it comes to how to fine-tune those. They talked about bans and the fight against cheaters recently. The work to combat cheaters is carried out around the clock. Nikita made a special emphasis on the fact that cheat developers pay for false info to be spread across the internet, that being things like cheating is easy, nobody bans, and the like, in order to sell their cheats. However, on average, about 1,000 accounts are banned per day. Nikita wrote down the idea of adding the ability to report not only when dying from a cheater, but also when surviving them, which I have no idea how you would track that properly, so good luck with that. A system is also planned that if you report a person and they are actually banned, you will receive a message that your report was successful. I'm not sure where this came from recently, but apparently they mentioned secure containers, and Nikita had to say that secure containers cannot be accessed. I guess someone brought this up, and the reason why people are worried is because there was a hack years ago where people could loot you while you were still alive, including your secure container. This has since been fixed, and apparently there's something put in place to make that now impossible. If you guys have heard anything about secure containers being looted anywhere, please let me know in the comments. In terms of just extra information that we got from the podcast, they're considering making pistols draw from your holster quicker, possibly only when the main weapon is malfunctioning. This is in the hopes that people start bringing pistols more often. This is good because everyone knows that switching to your sidearm is faster than reloading, so if it's faster than reloading, it should be faster than clearing a malfunction, so I like it. There were talks about the less that your bolt action sniper weighs, the more you can stay aimed down the sight, which makes sense and would be really handy. Nikita mentioned again that VOIP is being worked on and it is planned for 12/12. There is a huge number of details and subtleties that go into the system to make sure it is not abused. A quote from Nikita here is that we are going to make VOIP for sure, even if it is like other games. If the community hates it, then we will remove it and leave only VOIP with walkie-talkies. So he wants to make it proximity first, it sounds like, at least, and have an ability to report people in a certain radius as well. I like the idea, but I have no clue how you would properly do that if you don't actually kill the person, so let's hope BSG does. They also talked about possibly making it so that when Sanitar gets angry, he won't use all of his stims practically instantly, so that when you kill him, you'll actually get some stims and not only his gun and his armor. Nikita mentioned that for over a year now, they have been working with a third-party team to make a mobile app for Tarkov. They have talked about this in the past. He talked about possibly getting your insurance on it, posting stuff on the flea market, crafting stuff in the hideout from your phone. I'm sure there's some other stuff that they've thought of since then, but they are not satisfied with the quality of it just yet. Nikita said that it will definitely come, but as soon as it is actually made good. However, Nikita does not know when this will happen at the moment, so that's a welcome to Tarkov with that one. Again, this was all from the Russian community cast, so maybe we'll get something in English soon, where we could potentially get those Lighthouse screenshots and some new information on top of the fact of it just being in English, so there might be something that was lost in translation. I'll let you guys know more once I do. But for now, if you are looking for people to play with, join our Discord of over 8,000, where we have a special looking for group system and voice chats, so you know who you can and can't trust in harsh games like Escape from Tarkov. If you're interested, the link is below. And that's going to do it for today, guys. For the latest Escape from Tarkov news, check out these playlists here. If you like this video, then you know the drill. Please subscribe. I really appreciate the people who do. Otherwise, I hope you have a nice day. See you guys.